You ever seen a pair of kids so picky they send every maid in a millionaire's mansion running for their lives? Yeah, that happened. And the day everything changed well, let's just say nobody saw it coming, least of all the woman who would shake the walls of that house and every life inside it. Monday mornings at the Nosa mansion were always a circus, but this one was full-on chaos. Daniel, the man of the house, looked like he'd just escaped a kitchen explosion, one hand gripping a spatula, the other waving an egg-stained towel like a white flag. Smoke pouring out of the toaster, kettle screaming bloody murder, eggs bubbling on the stove like a science experiment gone wrong. And somehow he had a sock stuck to the fridge, didn't even ask how. You know what I mean? That place was less a home and more a war zone, and Daniel was the general losing every battle. He poked his head out of the kitchen, hair wild, face hollow from 2 weeks without decent sleep, and shouted, "Breakfast's almost ready." Not that anybody answered. Suddenly, a stampede. The twins were coming, Ava and Aiden, storming down the hallway arguing about who got to decide their outfits for school. Pink or blue? I'm the older sister. I say pink. I'm the second man in the house. I say blue. If you've ever tried to reason with 2 pint-sized hurricanes, you'll know it's like arguing with the wind. Daniel begged them to chill and stop chewing on the cables, but they barely paused, muttering their way to the table. He laid out their plates with the desperation of a man hoping for just one grateful word: toast, eggs, orange juice, all the love a dad could scramble together at 7:30 a.m. But the kids took one bite and let him have it. "Daddy, your cooking tastes like burnt rubber. It's too salty and it's spicy." Daniel practically melted into his chair, exhausted, muttering that maybe, just maybe, if they hadn't chased off every nanny from here to Abuja, they wouldn't be eating his breakfast disasters. Aiden, napkin in hand like a little judge, declared, "Daddy, those maids just don't understand how special we are." And Ava, smug as ever, added, "You're the one who tells us we're special, every day." Daniel sighed. What could he say? Of course they were special, but special didn't mean impossible. From there, it was a sprint hunting for lost socks, combing Ava's hair while she howled, tying shoes the wrong way, mopping up juice spills. By the time Daniel finally dropped them at school, he looked less like a CEO and more like a construction worker at the end of shift. His secretary, Linda, took one look at him that morning and said, "Sir, you look like you fought a tiger." "Two," he replied, not even trying to joke. The topic turned to the help he desperately needed. Linda offered to find someone not from the agency. Daniel begged, "I need someone real, someone who can teach those kids some manners." Linda only grinned, saying maybe what he really needed was a girlfriend wave her out of the office, but you could tell he wasn't offended. He was just tired. Somewhere across the city, Linda's best friend's phone started ringing, and that's when this story really started to turn. Across town, Valerie lay on her bed, wrapped in sadness, counting the cracks in her ceiling, heart heavy with all the insults she wore every day. Useless, barren, a failure in her mother-in-law's eyes. Her phone rang. Linda, the one friend who never judged. "Babe, you still looking for a job? I know a man desperate for help with his kids' good pay." For Valerie, it sounded like rescue. She didn't hesitate anything to get out of the house, where her only company was criticism and loneliness. But Linda warned her, those kids are wild. 15 maids in 3 years, and none lasted. Valerie's home life was hell. Her husband, Martin's, had long stopped defending her. His mother ran the place, hurling daily insults. "When I bring a new wife, you're out." Valerie didn't answer anymore. Once, she'd been a big shot, a project manager with power and purpose. But marriage and sacrifice took that from her. She'd given it all up for love, and look how that turned out. That night, after another round of insults and chores, Valerie stared out the window, praying for a way out, until Linda's offer echoed in her head. Maybe this was her chance. When she stepped into the gleaming glass office building for the interview, nerves were jangling. Daniel barely looked up from his laptop. "So you're good with kids?" She nodded. He asked about her degree, and she almost laughed. "No degree, but plenty of experience. I raised my siblings, taught Sunday school. I know kids." For the first time, Daniel almost smiled. "Fine. Let's see if you can survive more than a month with my twins." The offer was more money than she'd seen in years. Valerie left the building with hope flickering in her chest. At home, she tried to share her news with Martins, but he barely looked up. So you can care for other people's kids, but not your own. What an irony. That cut deep. She didn't run out of tears. Instead, she prepped for her first day like it was battle. And when she walked into the Nosa mansion, she was ready, scarf tied tight, nerves steady, determined to make this work. The twins sized her up immediately, two little monarchs with iPads, eyes wary. Her first breakfast service was a disaster: milk spilled, shoes hidden in the fridge, total chaos. Daniel watched from the stairs, shaking his head. Will this one last even a week? He wondered aloud. By day 4, Valerie played her card. She hid every toy, every gadget, every iPad in the house. When the twins panicked, she sat cool as a cucumber. Should I call the police? She teased, texting Linda to play along. The police, she said, were busy with emergencies. They'd have to wait a week. The twins freaked. Only then did she lay down her rules. Help me help you. Listen, eat, behave, or no toys. For the first time, they agreed. They searched the house together, finally finding the hidden stash under the bed. Relief turned to amazement suddenly. The twins were on her side. From that day, things shifted. Valerie wasn't just the help, she was a hero. Meals became an event. You're the best cook in the world, they'd say, scraping plates clean. One night, while braiding Ava's hair, the little girl asked, Miss, are you married? Do you have kids? Valerie admitted she didn't. Is it God who gives babies? I thought they came from the hospital. Valerie laughed, deep and honest. Sometimes, that's all you can do. The weeks rolled by, peace returned. Laughter echoed. Daniel finally slept again. Valerie found meaning in a house that became a home, while her own marriage spiraled deeper into darkness. Then, the twist: she returned home to find a strange woman on her couch. Her mother-in-law had done it. Here's your co-wife, she announced, fresh from the village, womb ready for miracles. Martin said nothing. That night, Valerie slept under the same roof as her replacement. Her life reduced to silence and survival. Months passed in quiet misery. Then one afternoon, she found her bags lined up at the gate, evicted, accused of witchcraft because even the new wife hadn't conceived. No tears, no begging. She picked up her things and walked out, dignity tattered but not broken. She went straight to Linda, who hugged her tight. Sit down, girl. You want tea or tears first? Valerie finally let herself collapse. She texted Daniel, family emergency, need some time. He replied instantly, take what you need. Let us know if you need anything. But Valerie just needed a heal. A week later, Daniel showed up at Linda's door with Ava and Aiden. The twins rushed to her. We missed you. We're starving. Nobody cooks like you. Valerie held them, heart cracking open. She cooked for them right there, and Daniel pulled her aside. I heard what happened. Why don't you stay with us? Save your money, plan your next steps. You've earned some peace. Valerie hesitated. Reputation, gossip, pain. But Daniel just shook his head. You deserve better, Valerie. Ignore the noise. That night, after the twins begged her to come back, Valerie sat in Linda's guest room, staring at the ceiling. By midnight, she texted Daniel, I'll move in tomorrow. This wasn't the end, just the next beginning. So you tell me your hat's right, what's wrong? Should Valerie fight for her peace, even if the world judges her? What do you think about justice, about community, about what we owe each other? Drop your thoughts below. Let's hear where you stand, because sometimes the biggest battles aren't won in the kitchen or the courtroom, but right at home.